Today we are finally kicking off one of the most highly requested series here on this channel, which is to share my favorite hair care products in every single category. And the purpose of this series is to not only share what I really love and what works well for me personally, but to also give you guys options depending on your varying needs. Because when it comes to hair care products, there are so many factors to consider in deciding whether or not a product is going to be a good fit for you. Of course, we have the obvious considerations when it comes to hair, like scalp type and hair type, but those are also not the only considerations. I totally recognize that we all have different price points we're willing to spend. We have different interests in the way products smell. Packaging is something that is obviously not nearly as important as how a product works for you, but I understand is still an important consideration for some. So with all of that being said, I wanted to give you guys a wide enough variety of products to choose from that kind of like addressed all of those concerns and considerations, while of course also being products that I have researched, vetted, tested, and love. So while of course there are products that I'm going to talk about that I'm more likely to use more often than others because they agree with my scalp and hair type more, I recognize the fact that not everybody has the same scalp and hair type as me, and so again, I want to give you guys kind of just like a platter of options. So without further ado, these are the absolute best clarifying shampoos I have ever tried and how to figure out which one is going to be the best fit for you. We're going to start off with the clarifying shampoos that I think those with normal to dry scalps would enjoy the most, and the first of those is the L'Oreal Professional Metal Detox Shampoo. This is described as a sulfate-free shampoo formulated with exclusive technology that gently removes harmful metal particles found in water to protect colored hair and improve overall hair health. Like they specifically call out in their product description a couple of times actually, the main cleansing agents in this are gentle cleansers. And that's not just because it's sulfate-free, but also because it just doesn't have any other cleansing agents that are known for giving you that really deep, effective cleanse. What this does have is an ingredient that's actually a patented technology called glycoamine. That is said to be the only active agent small enough to trap and neutralize metals inside the hair fiber. In addition to that, there are also a couple other chelating agents which are known for their ability to remove those metals and minerals that can damage hair that are found in hard water. Those ingredients are glycine and citric acid, and this also has some scalp-friendly ingredients like the citric acid and also salicylic acid. The texture of this shampoo is not too thin and not too thick. It's somewhere in between. It's milky, it's creamy, and it has a little bit of a stiffer consistency versus one that's super slippery. This smells expensive. It does. It smells like a perfume that you would spend a lot of money on. It's described as having a sweet citrusy scent with musky woody undertones. I primarily just smell the musky woodsy undertones. To me, it kind of smells a little bit like a cologne. It definitely smells nice, but if you are looking for something that is truly sweet or truly citrusy or fruity, then I don't think you'll love this. So this is one that I think does an excellent job at removing buildup, but it's just not quite as effective for oil removal if you have a super oily scalp, which is totally fine because that's really not what this clarifying shampoo was designed to do anyway. If you do have an oily scalp and you're interested in using this because of that patented technology, maybe you're somebody that has really hard water where you live, then what you could do is use this in addition to one of the clarifying shampoos that I'll mention in a bit that is better suited for a super oily scalp. Obviously, you don't have to do that. You can just stick to one clarifying shampoo, but if that was something that was intriguing to you and you wanted to try it out, that is a way that I would recommend using it. Another that I think you'll really enjoy if you have a normal to dry scalp and you're looking for a gentler option is the Living Proof Clarifying Detox Shampoo. This is described as a gentle clarifying shampoo that deeply cleanses, removing product buildup, pollution, excess oil, and heavy metals deposited from hard water to keep hair cleaner longer. At this point in my life, I wouldn't say that I have an incredibly oily scalp, like not how I did when I was back in high school and my hormones were raging, but I definitely do lean oily. So when they say that this removes excess oil, keeps hair cleaner longer, I don't fully agree with the fact that this keeps my hair cleaner for longer because I do get better results in that department, like specifically at the root when it comes to how greasy my hair looks between washes. I get better results with other shampoos that I will mention later, which doesn't surprise me at all because again, the main cleansing agents in this are all gentle. In addition to a chelating agent called tetrasodium glutamate diacetate, this also has a magnetic polymer in it that's specifically designed to remove all of those metals and minerals from our hair. In terms of ingredients worth mentioning that are beneficial for the health of our scalp, this contains charcoal powder and something that is an anti-irritant, anti-itch ingredient called Sim Calmin. So just like L'Oreal Metal Detox Shampoo, I would also say that this does an amazing job at removing buildup from the lengths and ends of my hair. This is one of the two shampoos in this video that has a grayish color because of that charcoal powder, and it's one that is also creamy but definitely thinner than L'Oreal. And I would say it's more slippy in texture than stiff. I really love the way that this smells. So this is described as having a light citrus and green tea fragrance with notes of sparkling yuzu and grapefruit. And the citrus definitely pulls through in this one, unlike with L'Oreal for me personally, but it's not too citrusy, like it's not overpowering in that way, it's nicely balanced. Every time I tried this out, it made my hair soft and silky and shiny, so I loved that about it. Again, it just wasn't the absolute best fit for my scalp type, but if you do have a normal to dry scalp, or if you have an oily scalp and you wash every single day, you may really love this. All right, so those were the high-end options for normal to dry scalps. Now let's talk about a couple affordable options. First up is the Garnier Fructis Pure Clean Purifying Shampoo. This is claimed to remove 100% of residue to purify the hair for beautiful, softer strands every wash. And it contains a system that cleanses and hydrates for clean, healthy hair with no weigh down. The two main cleansers in this are sodium lauryl sulfate and cocoa betaine. So we have a super effective cleanser, the sulfate of course, paired with one that is not an effective cleanser but is gentle and helps to offset any potential stripping, plus boosts up the foaming quality. Unlike the first two options, this isn't claimed to have any sort of technology to remove heavy metals and minerals from our hair. It does contain citric acid, which is a chelating agent though, and in addition to that, there are also some nice scalp-friendly ingredients like apple extract, salicylic acid, niacinamide, aloe juice, and green tea extract. So again, if you are somebody who has really hard water and your main concern is removing those deposits, then this isn't my number one recommendation for that. But if you're just looking for a shampoo that does a really great job at removing buildup and doesn't leave any residue behind, then this is a great option. The texture of this is a true gel, and it's one that kind of reminds me of aloe vera, so it's funny that this says aloe vera on the packaging. I had to check myself and be like, do I only think that because of this picture? But no, it does remind me of aloe vera. It's just that it's a little bit thicker and has better slip. This is not going to be one that is for everybody in terms of the smell. And if you have smelled Garnier products before, you will know exactly why. This has that classic green Jolly Rancher smell, right? Like it is, my mouth is watering. It's like I have candy in. It's maybe not as sour smelling as that candy, but it's close. I personally love it, but again, I know that it's not for everybody. It's definitely not one that smells expensive like the L'Oreal fragrance, but there's something about a classic drugstore hair care fragrance that I love. I'm not sure if it's just because it's nostalgic for me, but I have no issue. So again, this is a shampoo that I think does a great job at removing buildup from my hair. It's not as good in the oil removing department as some of the other shampoos I'll mention later, but I will say that this one was one I really had to play around with for a while. At first, I hated it. Well, I don't know that I hated it, but I was just bummed because I felt like it did not do a good job of cleansing my roots at all. And I was like, God, my hair looks greasy really fast with this. It just doesn't work for me. But once I started to be really meticulous with this and take longer in the shampoo process, I got way better results. That's definitely a general recommendation I have for anyone who feels like a shampoo is just not doing a good enough job cleansing. Don't get me wrong, it could very well be the shampoo with the state of the shampoo industry today. Too many extra gentle shampoos that don't do a great job cleansing. But in some cases, it could just be that you are not massaging shampoo into your scalp long enough or meticulously enough in the way that you're trying to like get every area. So that is why I always make sure to test shampoos several times before giving you guys my final thoughts, because my thoughts might change based on use. But when I do use it in that way, I really like the results I get with it. And the last option for normal to dry scalps is the L'Oreal Everpure Clarify Shampoo. This is described as a color-safe clarifying shampoo with a non-stripping formula that removes product buildup and hard water exposure to restore strands. Just like with the Garnier shampoo, there's a blend of a deeper cleansing agent in this paired with really gentle ones. The main chelating agents in this are citric acid, ascorbic acid, and glycine. Glycine and citric acid are also beneficial for our scalp, and this contains salicylic acid, another scalp-friendly ingredient as well. This is another shampoo that has a true gel-like texture, but compared to Garnier, I would say that it's a little bit thinner and a little bit more liquidy. The smell of this, It's my favorite out of all of the shampoos in this video. It smells so good. They say it has a sophisticated scent. I'm like, yeah, you do. And the main notes in this are cedarwood, citrus, and neroli. Out of all of these options, this one also does a really great job at removing buildup, but I think it does the best job for me at keeping my scalp fresh between washes. But it still is not as intense as some of the other shampoos in this video. Like the ones that I'm gonna talk about at the end, they really make a difference in how long I can go between washing. So that is why I still would categorize this as being best for normal to dry scalps. But again, if you have an oily scalp and you're a more frequent washer, you may still be obsessed with this. Heck, I still use it. I think it makes my hair feel great. Moving on to my top recommendations for normal to oily scalps. First up is the K18 Peptide Prep Detox Shampoo. This is said to be a color-safe, non-stripping clarifying shampoo with K18 peptide. It's supposed to gently but effectively remove 99% of product buildup, 95% of sebum, and 76% of copper for detoxified, refreshed hair. This one has a blend of a stronger cleanser with a gentler cleanser and has several chelators like sodium phytate, capryl hydroxamic acid, and citric acid. Beneficial scalp ingredients include salicylic acid, charcoal powder, and panthenol. This one also has a gel-like texture, and compared to L'Oreal, I would say that it is a little bit stiffer. And because of that, this is one that I get better results with when I really work it up between my hands before using, because otherwise I feel like it can be a bit difficult to spread throughout my hair super evenly. But after I spend some time really lathering it up, I have no issue with that. Smell! This definitely has my least favorite smell. It's not one that I smell and I'm like, oh my god, I love this. I definitely don't actively dislike it to the point of not wanting to use it. It's just when I compare to some of these others that have fragrances that I really, really love, this does not quite hit those same marks. What does this smell like? I seriously cannot put my finger on it. If I had to pick a fragrance family, I would say citrus. It screams my name the most. But again, there's just something about it that I'm not obsessed with. So I think that this is a great clarifying shampoo across the board. And I do actually think that this would work well for most scalp and hair types, but I'm putting it in the normal to oily category because you may not love it as much if you're super, super oily or super, super dry. The affordable option that I recommend for normal to oily scalps is the Dove Scalp Plus Hair Therapy Clarifying Shampoo. This is supposed to be a gentle hair clarifying shampoo for oily, fine hair to purify locks and remove scalp buildup. The top two cleansing agents in this are the exact same as the L'Oreal Everpure shampoo, but I do get a better cleanse with this one. It's obviously, I mean, the rest of the ingredients are not the same, not saying that at all. I think it really just goes to show that a simple comparison of the ingredients list side by side is not enough to know how something will work for you. This does have chelators like sodium gluconate, disodium EDTA, and citric acid, but where I would say this one stands out amongst others is the amazing scalp care ingredients infused in this. It contains an increased concentration of glycerin, and I only know that from speaking with the brand directly. That was one of the key ingredients that they wanted to increase in the formulation of the products in this line, the Scalp Plus Hair Therapy, because it's so beneficial for our skin. And our scalp is skin. You knew that. Also, niacinamide, zinc gluconate, citric acid, and lactic acid. I would say that the texture of this is kind of just the perfect in-between, where it's not too thin and slippery, but it's also not too thick and stiff and like viscous. I think it's one of the easiest to work with in that sense. And the smell is something that I think I've told you guys before has really grown on me. At first when I smelled it, I was like, whoa, that's really sweet. I don't think I'm gonna like this. But over time, I've really grown to love the way that this smells. I would say that there's something more candy sweet about it than others, but at the same time, it's not just that. Like there's also some floral and citrus pulling through. I will say it's definitely a powerful fragrance, so if you are somebody that's sensitive to fragrances, then this may be one that you'll want to avoid. But like I said, I really like it and I get great results with this as well, so if you are somebody that's looking for a clarifying shampoo that also contains a lot of really amazing scalp health ingredients, this will be for you. And they actually also have a hydrating version of this, so if you have a super dry scalp, but you want those scalp care ingredients, I'll list that below too. We have made it to the final two shampoos in this video, which are the ones that I think are best for oily to extra oily scalps. First up is a longtime favorite of mine, probably the shampoo that I have used the longest out of all of these. It is the Way Detox Shampoo. This is said to be a concentrated shampoo with apple cider vinegar that deeply cleanses away dirt, oil, and impurities. It also removes buildup from styling products and hard water deposits to leave hair hair feeling refreshed and super clean. Agreed. Again, perfect example of not knowing how a product will work for you until you try it, because this also has some of the same cleansers as both of these. Sodium C1416 olefin sulfonate is the primary cleansing agent, and that's one that I've talked to you guys about before, and I think I've said this in a YouTube video before, that Alex from Educated Mess, who is a cosmetic chemist that I actually just had on my channel, I will list a video that I did with her below. It was an amazing conversation. She was so honest and upfront about a lot of the just misinformation bullcrap that permeates in the industry. Anyway, so she is somebody that told me directly that she has used sodium C1416 olefin sulfonate before in shampoo projects that she had to do that had to be sulfate free strictly for marketing purposes, but still needed to effectively cleanse. So that is one that is a stronger cleanser, but brands will often use so that they can say a product sulfate free. But then this also has some gentle cleansers paired with that. This has a ton of different chelating agents, and apple cider vinegar is actually one of those. So just like so many other cosmetic ingredients, apple cider vinegar is one that has multiple purposes, multiple uses in a product, multiple benefits. So it's really nice for the health of our scalp, and it's a chelator as well. This shampoo has the stiffest texture out of all of the options in this video. It's not to the point of being so stiff that it's like sticky and tacky. It's like right behind the threshold of that. So one that, again, you really want to work up well into your hands, get a ton of water in your hair. It's one that I'll like get going and then stick my head back under the water to get it even more sudsy. Otherwise it can be a little bit trickier to work evenly into your scalp, but in doing that, I get amazing results. It's worth it, especially because it smells so freaking good. This has their classic Melrose Place fragrance, which is described as a swoon-worthy blend of bergamot, lychee, white musk, champagne, and rose. The reason why I think you'll like this best if your scalp is oily to extra oily is because I get intense everything removal from this. Not only do my lengths and ends feel super refreshed like they do with all of the rest of these shampoos, but this also extends the amount of time in between washes that my hair starts to look greasy. So with some of these other shampoos that I talked about, especially those that work for normal to dry scalps, my scalp may start to look greasy within like a day and a half after using, but with this, I definitely get longer. And that doesn't mean that I'm doing that to try to wash my scalp like once every 2 weeks, because that is not the goal. But if you are somebody that has an oilier scalp, then you understand how annoying it is to use a shampoo that makes your hair look greasy that fast. Like, you want to be able to go a couple of days without feeling like you need dry shampoo immediately. So if you are one of those people and you struggle to find a shampoo that does that for you, definitely check out Way Detox, unless I can interest you in this shampoo right here, which gives me the most intense cleanse of all time, and that is Pantene Volume and Body. And it's funny because this one is not marketed as a clarifying shampoo at all. It's marketed as a volumizing shampoo. So they say, give hair the voluminous look you want and hydration it needs with Pantene Pro-V Volume and Body. This just goes to show, like, we often need to take what brands say about their products with a grain of salt, because one of the main points that they highlight here is that this delivers moisture in every wash. This is not what I would use if you're somebody that is looking for a moisturizing shampoo. Quite the opposite, because the main cleansing agents in this are sodium lauryl sulfate and sodium laureth sulfate. It also does have a gentle cleanser, but this is the only shampoo that has those two just like really well-known, deeply cleansing agents. Despite this not being marketed as a clarifying shampoo, it actually also has several chelators like sodium citrate, tetrasodium EDTA, histidine, and citric acid. And it also has panthenol, which I have started to see more research on and the benefits that that can potentially have for the lengths of our hair. But at the very least, it's a nice hydrating protective ingredient for our scalp. I love the consistency of this. I feel like it's just perfect because, again, kind of like I was saying with Dove, it's not too thin, it's not too thick, it's not too slippy, it's not too stiff. It's just one that I really love working with. And the smell of this, I mean, is classic Pantene. Oh, it's so good. To me, it's like fresh, clean with some berries. I don't know. And like I was saying, this gives me the most intense cleanse out of all of these options. It is one that will leave your hair a little like but for as long as I have been using this and as often as I reach for it, I have never had any issues with my hair feeling overly stripped or dry as a result of using this. All I have to do is the exact same hair care routine that I always do after shampoo, and my hair feels amazing. Oh, the just refreshing refreshed feeling that you get with this shampoo, if you are somebody that has an intense amount of buildup, maybe you, I don't know, like have been consistently using shampoos that aren't giving you a good enough cleanse and you're like, oh my God, my hair feels awful, it's stiff, it's heavy. Or maybe you just one time used a product that didn't agree with you and your hair texture feels weird. This is what I would recommend every time because it will get your hair back to feeling like normal so quickly and allow you to go longer between washes before you start looking greasy. And with that, we have made it through the absolute best clarifying shampoos I have ever tried. As you saw throughout this video, there are different kinds of clarifying shampoos. There are those that are really focused on the removal of those hard water deposits. There are others that are more so focused on just removing buildup and allowing your hair to feel bouncy and not weighed down. And of course, there are those that are really designed to heavily remove oil. So I really hope that this helps you in figuring out which clarifying shampoo is the best for you. Let me know in the comments below if you have tried any of these shampoos, how they worked for you personally, and also make sure to let us know what your scalp and hair type are so that can help people decide further. That is one of the amazing things about the community we've created here on this channel. You guys not only get to hear how things work for me, but from other people who are interested in the same kinds of things as you, but maybe have a different scalp type or different hair type to me. So let us know your thoughts on any of the products I mentioned in this video, and if you are interested in picking up anything I talked through, everything is going to be listed and linked in my description box below in order of mention. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it from me, please don't forget to give this a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, click on that notification bell, and send my channel to a friend. Thank you so much for your support in doing those things. It really does help to support my channel, so I appreciate it more than you know. Thank you for watching my videos. I love the freaking heck out of you guys. Make sure to stay tuned for my next one because that will be up in a few days. But until then, I hope you have a great few days.